This is an examination of the hidden human condition.
This is the Hidden Killers Podcast
with Tony Bruschi.
Well, if you're in a vehicle with an inmate and the inmate has a desire to break free and he's not necessarily in the restraints that you want him to be in, then bad things can happen. They can also happen when you have the suspect in restraints, as happened in this next story. This is the story of an inmate who's suspected of killing a sheriff's deputy by choking him with handcuffs, chain, during an escape attempt in Indianapolis. So am I getting this right here, Carol? I'm imagining him with the cuffs on and like sticking his arms in front of the guy and pulling back, and the chain on the handcuffs being the weapon. Is that what I'm...
As much as I don't like to think about it, that's the way I'm envisioning it as well. And I'm wondering, because usually they have their hands behind them. So I wonder if when he was in back of the transport vehicle, if he was able to like have his arms in front of him. But sometimes you see him handcuffed in front. Mm-hmm. So it could have been that as well.
Sure.
And he just, so maybe got out of him the other way, or he was just handcuffed that way. But it's horrific.
Yeah, this happened in Indianapolis. The inmate Orlando Mitchell is suspected of killing a Marion County Sheriff's Deputy, John Durm, during an escape attempt by choking him with the chain on his handcuffs. The incident occurred at the guarded entryway of the Adult Detention Center on the city's south side. It struck Monday of last week when Deputy Durm, a dedicated 38-year veteran of the Sheriff's Department, succumbed to the attack from the prisoner. Officer Shane Foley of the Indianapolis Police labeled the assault as an intentional act of homicide, triggering an investigation into the incident. On Tuesday, the county coroner's office confirmed that Durham's cause of death was ligature strangulation, leading to the official declaration of his death as a homicide. The loss of Deputy Durham, as a married father of four, sent shockwaves of grief and mourning throughout the law enforcement community and the wider community that he was serving. According to the police report, inmate Orlando Mitchell, who is 34, launched the assault on Deputy Durham while the vehicle was still within the guarded entryway of the Adult Detention Center. The attack unfolded as Durham arrived at the center in a Marion County Sheriff's Office vehicle after taking Mitchell to a hospital visit. The probable cause affidavit, published on Tuesday, shed further light on the horrific events that unfolded. The document described how Durham exited the vehicle and opened the rear door, providing Mitchell an opportunity to open the van's inner door. Mitchell was then captured on video, putting his hands over Durham's head and wrapping them around the deputy's neck. So, yes, it's exactly as I was thinking. In a desperate struggle, Durham tried to free himself from the chain Mitchell had used to choke him. Both individuals fell to the ground, with Mitchell maintaining his grip on Durham's neck until the deputy ceased moving, according to the affidavit. Following the heinous act, Mitchell managed to find Durham's handcuff key, freeing himself from the restraints. Seizing the opportunity to climb into the van, reversed it, and broke through the detention center's gate. Mitchell then drove a short distance before crashing into a wooden post. He was apprehended by other deputies and subsequently returned to jail. Mitchell, who's been incarcerated since September of 22, while awaiting trial for the murder of his ex-girlfriend, Crystal Walton, now faces additional charges in connection with the Deputy Durham's death. Marion County Prosecutor's Office has stated that a decision on charges related to the killing is not expected until at least later in the week. So the question now is, okay, he did this horrible thing. He's awaiting trial. What did he actually do to land in jail on charges of murder? And now we got a second murder. This doesn't seem very wise on his part.
He's a son of a bitch. Like, this guy's a piece of shit.
I mean, considering the trial has not taken place yet, you still got a chance of getting out, don't you? I mean, you still do. If the trial...
I don't know what... Yeah. I think the case against him on his ex-girlfriend's murder is pretty solid.
Okay.
But obviously, when you read about what happened to her, it's so sad. And the guy is so mean and obviously has some serious anger issues and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, he doesn't strike me as your cool, calm, collected type guy thus far. Mitchell faced a series of charges from a violent domestic incident on March 20th of 2021. The accusations against him include strangling, domestic violence, criminal confinement, and intimidation. The victim was Crystal Walton, who was 4 months pregnant with Mitchell's child at the time, reported the incident to the police. According to the probable cause affidavit, Walton revealed that Mitchell had assaulted her, grabbed her by the hair, and threatened her life. He demanded that she terminate her pregnancy, adding that she would drive him to kill her. During the altercation, Mitchell forcefully pinned her down to the bed and proceeded to choke her while Walton's daughter attempted to intervene. Fearing for her safety, Walton sought refuge with her mother following the incident, expressing concern that Mitchell would hunt her down. However, the legal proceedings took an unexpected turn when Mitchell pleaded guilty on July 26, 2022, to a reduced charge of domestic battery, categorized as a misdemeanor. Prosecutors subsequently dropped the remaining charges. Of course, and that's a problem we have with our system where, well, if you plead to this, it'll save us some time, and then you're going to get back out and terrorize people.
You get out.
Which he did.
Mm-hmm.
The court sentenced Mitchell to 363 days in jail, which was suspended. Instead, he received a 1-year probation, mandatory attendance of a 26-week domestic violence counseling course. I'd be curious to see how many people come out of the 26-week domestic violence counseling course and are actually better people.
And they're all people who don't think they need it anyway because they're entitled and they get what they want.
Exactly. I guess. Oh, I wish that someone would have taught me this of not beating the shit out of my wife. I had no idea.
Didn't think about that.
Never thought.
Doing it in front of her young daughter, no less.
Had no idea. It's like, no, you're just an idiot. You're an asshole. You're an idiot. You're a horrible person. And you should die. But instead, the world gets to deal with you.
Mm-hmm. Makes me so mad.
It was also a batterer's intervention program.
Like a batterer's intervention program, which I've never heard of. Why do it after the fact? Like the intervention should have happened before. And the no contact order with Crystal Walton, except when concerning their child's care. Yes, because we really need the input of this jack-off in the child's care. I always love that when it comes to like divorce cases or something. And like one of the parents has truly demonstrated themselves to be a horrible human being. It's like, but you should consult with them about your child's care. It's like, that's the last person on earth I'm going to consult with about my child's care, considering that person was capable of killing them to begin with. Fuck you. And the person wanted her to have an abortion. Exactly. Yeah. He doesn't get a say. He doesn't even want the kid. You're going to get some real insightful opinions from that person. And then when they ultimately disagree with you, because that's what people like that do, are you supposed to like honor that and listen to it rather than you, the responsible parent? Yeah. Let's take the abuser and what he says, because it really weighs a lot on this. Yeah. Messed up. Additionally, Mitchell was required to undergo a substance abuse evaluation and any recommended treatment, as stated in the court documents. However, Mitchell violated the conditions of his agreement. Shocker. On August 6, 2022, when that piece of paper, that no contact order that really doesn't mean shit to somebody like this, everybody else, every, person who's sane, if like you got that or I got that from somebody, you'll be shocked. But at the same point, like, sure, if that's how you feel, I'm not going anywhere near you. But to people like that, it's more of an invitation to come back and show how much you are more in power and control than them. Because that's what they like to do. So, August 6, 2022, he forcibly enters Walton's home, despite her having obtained that protective order against him. Maybe she could fight him with like a paper airplane of it or something and get him in the eye. Unfortunately, that's not what happened. Witnesses recounted that Mitchell said, "This will be the last time you call for someone," after discovering that Walton had alerted the police. Further escalating the situation, he sent a threatening text message to Walton on August 7th, 2022, stating that he would stop at nothing until she lost everything, including her home, job, and her daughter. That's sick. Yet we let people like this run the streets. Hey, this is the guy they just reduced charges on, no jail time. Go ahead. Plead a little less, and then we'll reduce the charges, and you can go on your way. You seem like a lovely guy. September 16, 2022, after Crystal Walton dropped off her children at Charity Childcare in Indianapolis, she made her way back to her car. Surprise! Mitchell confronted her and fatally shot her.
This is totally preventable if they just kept him fucking locked away.
Mm-hmm.
Or if there happened to be some sort of accident behind bars and prevented him from ever coming back out again. The daycare employees and children witnessed this horrific act immediately after the shooting.
Kids.
Yeah. So I'm glad we got him to reduce to plead to the lesser charges because, yeah, that really worked out well now, didn't it? Good idea. Good idea. At approximately 10:20 a.m. on the same day, the police received a tip regarding a vehicle matching the description of the suspect's car involved in the daycare shooting. The informant informed the authorities that a man in the vehicle had admitted to killing his girlfriend near 10th Street and Holmes Avenue. Acting swiftly, law enforcement located the reported vehicle, where they found Mitchell armed with a rifle. Police instructed him to drop the weapon, but when he failed to comply, officers were forced to fire at Mitchell, only injuring him. I just say this.
He's a guy. It's too bad they didn't.
Become a better shot. Don't just go for injuring. Go for killing someone like this. There's no reason to keep him around. There's no trial. It doesn't matter. It's going to cost a lot of money and a lot of people's time and energy and effort that could be put into something else other than some piece of shit like this. Disturbing details emerged from the incident as Mitchell's remarks were captured on one of the body officer's camera. According to court documents, he callously confessed, "I shot that bitch," and later went on to say, "I shot that bitch in the face," while being loaded into an ambulance by emergency medical services.
So that's why the guy was in prison or in jail awaiting trial. And because when I first heard about the story, I was just horrified, that could happen to this deputy. I mean, that's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And it just made me curious why he was in there in the first place. This guy's a piece of shit.
We don't do anything.
Be out. Like he strangled his girlfriend. He didn't kill her, thank God, at that point, but in front of her daughter. And
he still threatens her for many, many more days, weeks, months after all of that. And the police are aware. And it's like, well, you got the protective order. So, And
here's this poor woman who can't do anything. She's trying to get away from him. She goes to her mom. She she does everything that she can legally do, but none of that's going to keep him away from her.
No,
it wasn't ever going to end any other way because that's what this guy wanted. If she, he wanted to take everything from her and this was how it was going to end, which is so sad. I can't imagine the desperation she had to have felt.
There needs to be some sort of societal change that, yes, will interfere on people's rights. But when you're doing these sorts of things and you're saying these sorts of things to people, it should be treated almost as if you did do them. It's kind of like the airport rule. You can't say bomb in an airport. You can't talk about taking down a plane in an airport. If you do, you're going to get charged very severely with terroristic threats. And you will go to jail for quite some time. It should be the exact same when it comes to domestic incidents. If you are getting text messages, if you're getting emails, if you're getting whatever, there's someone speaking this to you and you can record them saying it, it should be treated the same way. You're getting terroristic threats made at you, and that person doesn't just get a slap on the wrist or a night in jail. Sorry, we're going to treat you as if you just did what you claim you want to do. We're just going to give you the penalty ahead of time, period. As long as we can prove that you made those threats. If it's
what about the deputy? So this is what this guy did. This guy is horrible. He has no conscience whatsoever.
No.
The deputy was able to transport him to the hospital by himself. It just doesn't seem like a one-person sort of transport.
You would think not, but I would guess maybe.
It seems to me that he shouldn't have been in a situation where he was one-on-one with this guy.
No, I don't think anyone should be one-on-one.
Maybe they will change protocols and stuff, but this guy is a murderer.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Take him to the hospital. Because I would think anything this guy would do, he's going to try to escape, and taking someone to the hospital is probably, I would guess, the highest escape incidents, or they're out there, and that would be a very, I don't know, I would think you would want multiple people involved in transporting a guy like this guy.
You would think, but hindsight's 2020 when a majority of
forward.
When you go years and there's no incident and things seem to be fine, like, oh, okay, you get some confidence in that system kind of working.
True.
But you can't really have that sort of a system with convicted murderers and other people who are in prison or jail. It's not exactly going to ever work out well when you're kind of assuming, oh, this one will work just as good as the last one. It won't. There's a time where it will not. Anyway, again, we'll see where this all goes. Obviously, there has not been a trial yet for either his girlfriend that he killed and the officer. One can only hope that state has the death penalty.
You're locked into the Hidden Killers podcast.
Want more? Start binging on all of our true crime podcasts right now through Apple Podcasts and get an ad-free experience when you sign up to be a True Crime Today Premium Plus member exclusively on Apple Podcasts.
More of the Hidden Killers podcast dropping soon.
Press subscribe now.